Hey there everybody, and welcome back. For those of you tuning in for the first time, I'm Justin Archer, aka The Posture Guy, your #1 source on pain, posture, and performance. And I had something planned for today, but then early this morning, I got a couple emails that were a continuation of a discussion I was having yesterday with a gentleman named Tom. And I was going back over our emails and reading, what he said and what I said, and I was thinking to myself, wow, there are a lot of great takeaways here that I think would not only be beneficial for Tom himself, but also for you to hear as well. And so I asked Tom, and with Tom's blessing, what I'd like to do is share with you kind of the highlights of our discussion and kind of the takeaways that I came away with, and like I said, that I think would be beneficial for everyone to hear, okay? So Tom wrote me yesterday saying that he is currently struggling with Thoracic Outlet Syndrome. And if you don't know what that is, you can do a quick Google search on it, but essentially what it means is that he's having some nerve pain down both of his arms. Some people with Thoracic Outlet Syndrome only have it down one arm. Unfortunately, Tom has it down both arms. It's a type of tingling sensation. Also sometimes it can be a burning and or numbing sensation, but I think he just mentioned tingling, so that's good actually. And it's usually caused by the glenohumeral joint or the shoulder capsule kind of coming forward. So the upper back kind of rounds forward, the shoulders come forward, and there's a lot of nerves, there's like a whole cluster of them in the shoulder kind of armpit area that when they become impinged, you get that nerve referral. So that's what's going on with Tom, symptom-wise. He said he's been working with a physio for a month and a half now to try to loosen up his upper back and neck muscles. He then continued to say that although they've been working on that and his upper back and neck muscles feel looser, his symptoms haven't really seemed to be relieved any. And then he went on to say that he watched the What Condition Is Your Posturing video and determined for himself that he's a condition 1. And if you don't know what I'm talking about at this point, I'll make sure to link up a link to that video down below this video so you can watch it and determine if you're condition 1, 2, or 3. But when he got down into the static back position and felt a significant arch in his lower back, that just kind of did it for him. Okay, I'm a condition 1. Well, he was looking at the condition 1 exercise routine and he had some concerns because he thought some of the exercises might be a little too strenuous for him right now and could possibly exacerbate some of his symptoms. And so that's why he was emailing me. And so I emailed him back saying, one, I think him and his physio are on the right track with, correcting his, or loosening up his upper back and neck muscles to help reposition his upper back and shoulders. But I said also, don't neglect the lower body. For instance, that condition 1, if you have that anterior pelvic tilt, it's always going to then affect your spinal curvature, which will then affect your shoulder position, which will then cause the impingement, which causes Thoracic Outlet Syndrome. So that's why I said, yeah, a lot of the exercises that work on pelvic, I guess you can say pelvic neutrality, returning the pelvis to a neutral position in the condition 1 routine are very, very important for him to do. So I said, here's what I'd recommend. Do all the exercises, take them in order, don't skip any, but try them out. And if something hurts or you feel uncomfortable doing it or not quite sure, skip it for now. It's not that that exercise is bad for you, but just at this current time, it may not be appropriate for your current postural position or range of motion. I said if there's an exercise that maybe calls for 40 repetitions and you can only do 20, then just do 20. Just do your best and then try to progress from there. And so he must have done it, I guess, last night or early this morning because he wrote me back saying, yeah, I had actually gone through these exercises and kind of here's some notes on what I found. And sure enough, there were some that he just felt, just weren't for him at this time, so he skipped over, which is fine, listen to your body. There was others that he found, wow, this was really challenging, and yeah, this called for 40 repetitions and I can only do 20, or this called for 25 and I can only do 7, or this asked me to hold this position for 2 minutes and I can only do 20 seconds. So he found that out, pretty fast, that some of the exercises are quite challenging. But that's okay, and I applaud, Tom for one, kind of taking a leap of faith, not even in me. I mean, I know we haven't even met in person, we've just met over emails, but in himself and in his body's ability, he just went, okay, I'm going to try these exercises. If they hurt, I'm not going to do it. If they don't, I'm going to continue to do it and try to get better and better. He then also wrote a second email this morning saying that there was 2 in particular that he felt had a significant change in that pelvic tilt, where he would go in static back and it would help lessen the arch in his lower back. It would actually help flatten it out. And those were static back and supine groin stretch. So again, kudos to you, Tom, for listening to your body and recognizing that those 2 are really good for you. Now, this is something particular to Tom. So, Tom, if you're out there, I'm speaking to you. I know you mentioned you're going to a music festival, I think, next week. And so you were kind of holding off going, full board with the exercises until you get back. I would recommend take what you did, was it yesterday or today, whenever you did the exercises, and, try to progress on them, tomorrow and the next day until you leave. And then simply do what you can while you're there. I know you're going to have probably other priorities and different things going on. I'm not sure your living situations, if you're going to be in a house, a condo, apartment, a tent, but I'll tell you from personal experience, there's always something you can do. I mean, I've done some of these exercises for pain relief on a kayak miles off from the shore. I kid you not. I've had clients that have done them in submarines. So I mean, if you can name a time and a place, I or one of my clients have done it. So, do something every day and try to make progress. And that kind of leads us back to, the title of this post, which is, chronic pain. We get into and out of chronic pain it's a process. It's not an event. It's not like you're shot by a bullet, get into a car accident or fall down a flight of stairs where there's a direct, cause and effect. Then you obviously know what it is. For most of us, with chronic pain, it's happened over days, weeks, months, years, or for a lot of us that are 30 or older, over decades. So, for instance, in Tom's, we'll use Tom as an example, that the upper back and neck muscles on him are probably pretty tight. It sounds like him and his physio are making some headway on that. But if you probably think back, Tom, weeks, months, maybe even years ago, there were signs, maybe not pain signs to the Thoracic Outlet Syndrome, but just posture-wise, that your posture was slowly but surely kind of going towards that position, and maybe subconsciously your body made it so you would, shrug your shoulders or kind of waggle them or move them to try to get some of that tension out of there. And a lot of us, we kind of neglect those and just kind of go, oh, okay, I'm tight, or I was at the computer a lot today, or whatever the case may be. But those are signs from your body saying, hey, put me back, into position. The problem is that a lot of people don't know how to interpret those, so they just kind of go unseen, or even worse, people will pop painkillers to just kind of quiet them. So essentially we're ignoring them. It's the same thing as kind of if you're driving your car and the check engine light comes on, you wouldn't go to your mechanic and say, hey, can we get that check engine light to turn off? No, you'd want to know, what does that check engine light mean, and can we fix that? So that kind of brings me to, after reading a couple of these, our emails back and forth, kind of what I came away with. So like I said, number one obviously is we get in and out of chronic pain as part of a process, not an event. Actually, I had to write some of these down so I don't forget all of them. Number two is take what the body will give you. In Tom's case, the standing arm circles, I know he told me, I called for 40 circles each way. He was only able to do 20. That's fine. I'm totally fine with that. If number 21 started to hurt him, or he found he wasn't able to maintain good form, I'm all about, quality over quantity. And I know if he keeps doing them every day, it's just going to get better and better. And probably in a few days, by the end of this week, he'll be able to do, the 40 straight without there being any discomfort or pain or anything, with perfect form. So keep it up. Number three is, don't ignore progress if it isn't directly related to symptom. The funny thing is that through all the emails, other than the very first one, Tom really didn't mention, what had changed in his symptoms. Now, you may call me biased and optimistic, but I would believe after doing the exercises, the condition one routine, even though, Tom, for a very good reason, skipped several of them because he thought they may cause him more pain, the ones he did do that he told me about, I can almost pretty much guarantee that the pain was less. Maybe it wasn't cured or anything, but it was less. And the reason I say that is because I've seen time and time again, it's physically impossible to take your body through these exercises, through these positions, and not have a positive postural change, which then leads to better range of motion, more mobility, and overall less pain. So, but also I like that because I think Tom has learned or is kind of grasping that, not focusing on the symptom itself, but focusing on the cause. His upper back, his shoulder position, that anterior pelvic tilt that he felt when he was in static back, that's, very prone to that condition 1 type of posture. Working on those things, because I think he knows, as I'm sure you guys know if you've been reading some of my other posts, if you work on correcting those things, you're getting better at things like arm circles and elbow curls and air bench, and getting stronger and getting more mobile, more range of motion, then the reason for your symptoms being there is going to go away. All right? Which actually kind of covers number 4, which is focus on the cause, not the symptom. I kind of got ahead of myself. Number 5 is don't let bad days discourage you. Okay? So granted, I know Tom is kind of a month and a half in trying to, alleviate or eliminate, I should say, his symptoms. And I don't know where you are in your kind of journey of getting pain-free, but what I always tell clients is, you got to look at the overall average. Overall health is accumulative. So just like brushing your teeth, you can't brush your teeth one day and expect you to have, clean teeth the rest of your life. You got to do it every day. Good health, good nutrition, good hydration, good posture. You got to practice every day. And so what I would tell Tom and I would tell you guys is that, do the exercises, every day, and just look to, progress a little bit. This kind of blends into one of the other points is, it's very easy to look for that magic bullet, that one exercise that's going to change things overnight. And every once in a while, you do get those, but a lot of times it's consistency wins out. So instead of looking, if you're trying to climb a hill, instead of looking at the very top, look 5-10 feet ahead of you, get there, and then reset it and look, 5-10 feet ahead of you. So, for Tom, for instance, work to getting to 40 arm circles or 25 elbow curls, or, go from 20-second air benches to 30 to 40-second air benches, eventually up to 2 minutes. And when those things get better, I guarantee your posture is going to be better. It has to. You can't have one without the other. And, your symptoms are going to be less. You're going to have better range of motion and overall better quality of life. So, if you have bad days, don't get discouraged. I've had them myself. I just hate to see people, been working on something for, weeks or months, and they let 1 or 2 bad days kind of get them down, and then they just stop dead in their tracks making progress. I hate to say that there's not going to be bad days, but I can almost promise you the opposite, which is, there's going to be bad days sprinkled throughout. But, if you feel like, things are overall working, again, average, if out of 7 days you have 5 good days and maybe 1 or 2 bad days, well, hey, 5 out of 7 is pretty good. So just keep going the same direction, keep doing the same thing you're doing, and you get better and better and better until eventually there are no bad days, which obviously is what we're all after. And what else? Last but certainly not least is remember that we're all works in progress, and this is even including myself. Sounds like Tom is kind of month and a half into his journey getting pain free. I don't know where you are. Myself, I've been at this for 8 years. Now, after the first 2 months, I was pain free, but things change, lifestyle change. You pick up new sports, new hobbies. Over the last, I'd say 8 months, my wife and I have been traveling a lot more. I've been working at the computer more since I started, working on the postureguy.com a lot more. So I've had to work, myself. You talk about shoulder position. My shoulders from all the computer work will want to kind of be here. So I got to work on this more, and I have to adjust. So it's not always, the same day in and day out. I always tell clients we're all works in progress, including myself. If you look back at some of the other videos, you'll see there's ones where my shoulder, one shoulder maybe slightly higher than the other, is because I was working on a post, maybe late one night and then early into the next morning type of thing. So, I'm guilty of it, but don't let it, discourage you. You got to look at the big picture. Can't look at it day by day. You got to look at it more like month by month or even year by year. All right. So, anyways, I hope that these points one of them or all of them, will kind of help you in your journey towards a pain-free and active life. Hope they do the same for Tom, and I know for sure they have for me. That's why I thought they just took priority over what I had planned earlier today. So I'm a little lengthy in this one. Sorry, but it's both kind of personal, and I think stories like these are you can't write this stuff. This is better than anything I could have come up with today. So if you yourself need any help, or have any questions or anything, please write to me, and with your permission I'd love to share this with other people, because I think that's how you learn, that's how I learn, that's how we all learn together. Alright, so thank you for sticking with me if you're still watching this, and I look forward to seeing you inside the next video. Until then, take care and keep moving.